What fire springs forth? What bile does bubble? The black moon swings and the sky stirs trouble. By violent ends, we kill the light. Through the shadows, madness beckons. Weird at night.
1, 2, 3.
Sup, everybody. It's Patrick Galactic, and you're watching Weird at Night. Thank you for tuning in. Looks like we got some new people joining us tonight. Thank you for joining us on this third episode of Weird at Night. Weird at Night is basically a haven for creative conversation in the middle of the night. If you're awake, if you're trying to sleep, if you can't sleep, if you don't want to sleep, doesn't matter. You got a home here. I'm going to turn the reverb off my voice because that's a little bit rude. There we go. Yeah. All right, how's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? What is new today? How is everybody doing? The Zim can't sleep. Buddy, what's going on? This is kind of a standard issue thing, I believe. Oh, the razor sharp as well. That's good to see. That's good to see. Well, I'm glad you guys are with me because we have lots to discuss. There's so much to discuss, in fact. So in the last episode, I made mention of the fact that my roommate, the Razor Sharp, would be joining me in watching season 3 of Twin Peaks. I'm going to blame him. We haven't done it. And it's his fault because his job got really busy. We watched like the first 3 episodes or 4 episodes or something. I'm burping into the microphone. Sorry about that. We watched the first couple episodes, and I gotta say, every time I take a little break from Twin Peaks, it's because I've consumed it with such gusto for, however long it's been. I've rewatched every episode several times, and I get so sucked into this Lynchian, surreal, crazy shit that, it's almost hard to come back out. And so because it takes such a toll, artistically to, kind of watch, it makes me feel like, maybe it's going to require something of me to continue to participate with it. That's a long way of saying it's so good that it's hard for me to watch. And, so I was, trying to get myself ready for Twin Peaks, and Matt turned on the first episode. Couple seconds, I'm into it, man. There's just nothing like it. There's nothing like Twin Peaks. There is nothing like, just the absurdity of that show, the crazy drama, the crazy melodrama, and the kind of sarcastic bite to the whole show, while at the same time being very serious and kind of being a piece of pop art at the same time. So I don't know. If you guys haven't checked out Twin Peaks, you're really missing out because it is so good. And I will be talking more about it as we venture deeper into the town of Twin Peaks. Watched an episode of the Twilight Zone for the first time in a while. And it was, I can't remember the name of the episode, but it was about a plane that lands, but there's no crew. And the people inspecting the plane are talking about how this guy keeps saying, he's never he's never not figured out why a plane went down. We always recover the crew. We always do this. We always do that. And that story unfolds in this amazing way. It's like the setups on the Twilight Zone are unlike any other because you have no idea how they could possibly pay off that story. So it's cool to watch. Do I remember amazing stories? That sounds really familiar, Zim. I don't remember uh I don't remember what it is exactly, but I'll look it up for sure. Maybe I'll do screen share later. We'll look it up on YouTube together. Um Needless to say, this story of the passenger aircraft with no crew ends in some kind of grim moment of sort of existential horror. The Twilight Zone is like home base for me. It's something that always feels right when I watch it. It's so sharp. And if you guys haven't had a chance to enjoy it yet, what are you waiting for? Even the new Twilight Zone, there's really no bad Twilight Zone. There's just Rod Sterling's and then everybody else's, and there's nothing too sad about that. Uh, what are you guys watching right now? What's on your playlist? What are you Netflixing? What are you Huluing? I don't watch a ton of TV usually because I'm creating silly shit like this for you guys, or silly music or whatever. But I've kind of been able to dig a little deeper in lately because what the fuck else are you gonna do, right? Life in quarantine, which brings me to my next point, which is the new normal. Everybody keeps saying the new normal. Uh, and so I just want to talk about what my new normal is. My new normal is wearing pajamas all the time. Everybody said that. Maybe showers. Like, am I going somewhere? No. So maybe showers. Uh, maybe get the mail. Probably not going to get the mail, to be honest. That's a once a week kind of deal. Um, Stay awake for no more than about 5 hours at a time. I find that this is my ideal state. I do my best work when I can take a nap about every 5 hours. So, with my schedule, like I outlined in a previous episode, I wake up about 10 o'clock, 10:30, stay up till about 3:30, go take a nap for a couple hours, stay up some more, and then, you know, take another nap, maybe stay up till 6 in the morning. Who knows? It's quarantine and it's great. Uh, Zim, you've been watching TikTok. It does suck you in, man. TikTok is no joke. Like, did you guys ever use Vine? Um, I when I saw TikTok come back, I didn't use Vine when it was actually a thing, but after it got shut down, my daughter just we kind of bonded by just sitting and watching YouTube for hours of just old vines. It's unbelievable. So like TikTok to me was like, oh, it's Vine, it's back. And obviously with a different company and a different mentality, but largely similar. And I'm very excited for that because I think that, yeah, that's some mind blowing shit. I think that it allows for radical experimentation. It allows for a lot of creativity, and you get to see how creative like normal people can be when that it's just them and all this stuff. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but every once in a while you meet somebody who says something like, "I'm just not creative." And then you see their Instagram or you see their and yeah, they're very creative. I think everybody's creative on some level, but getting people to kind of recognize their creativity isn't always easy. And I think TikTok is one of those platforms that just allows for that, just like Twitch. So yeah. Let's see what we got. Gonna do a little public service announcement before we move on too far. Let's take some shit down here. Hold on with me, guys. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Okay, this is a call to creators. Do you want to be featured on Weird at Night? Do you make music videos? Do you make short films? Do you make animations? I don't want any of your porn, but I would like your creations. And if you want to feature them on the show, I'll have you on. We'll talk about what you're up to. We'll talk about how people can find you. We'll share your links. We'll do the whole deal. The purpose of this show is really to spotlight creativity in all its forms in all its mediums by all the different people that do it. Um, and basically, if I can have every artist in the world on this show at some point, that will maybe be my goal. Um, why did I choose Twitch versus other live video platforms? Well, um, getting back to the radical experimentation element of it, it allows for stuff like me to be sitting in front of this camera with crazy gifs going everywhere. Uh, I think that I prefer Twitch because it's a very direct platform in the live streaming realm. YouTube does that, but I actually don't enjoy always playing with YouTube. They make it very hard, and they kind of randomly change the setup and the deal. They demonetize and they remonetize and they demonetize again. Um, I'm not on Twitch for money, but what I am here for is a direct connection. And I don't think YouTube does live the way that Twitch does. There's not the same level of spontaneous interaction, at least not that I've seen. So I'm very, very happy to be here on Twitch. Um, but yes, call to creators. If you direct videos, if you make short films, if you make animation, if you make visual art of any kind, if you make music, and you want it on the show, send it to weiirdatnight@gmail.com. Weiirdatnight@gmail.com. I don't know how I got that email address, but it was just sitting there, man. Like, I couldn't believe that nobody ever thought of that. Which brings me to my next point. There's a feature that we are rolling out tonight called Late Night Stories. And if you want your late night stories to be featured on Weird at Night, they can be naughty stories. They can be scary stories. They can be strange or surreal stories. They can be, alien invader stories. I mean, if you have something crazy that you want the world to know, and we got some tonight, get at me, weiirdatnight@gmail.com, and I'll get that on the show. You can read it yourself up through a video and send it in. And we can disguise your identity. You can have me read it for you, which I'm going to do for somebody tonight. Doesn't matter. What matters is that we get to kind of revel in each other's strange experiences in the middle of the night, right? So Late Night Stories, it's happening tonight. You'll see what it's all about. I'm really excited. Before we go to Late Night Stories, though, let's do some business. Weird at Night with Patrick Galactic is presented by the Status Quo. We've designed your life. Now shut the fuck up and live it. Hey guys, whenever you are trying to keep things real cool and not make any waves, and you are trying to make sure that things don't get any better or any worse, just maintain the status quo. There's no risk, there's no reward, and that's A-okay. Our other sponsor, the Concerned Citizens for the Destabilization of Society, ask, did you remember to do that thing? You know that thing that you're lying in bed thinking about. Did I remember to do that thing? What was that thing? Well, did you? And Shitty's Pizza. The hospital's next door. Go to Shitty's, use promo code Why God Do We Suffer, and get a free depubing, normally $4.99, limit one per customer. On the corner of 9th and Nocturnal Drive, just past the memory of your first fully charged smartphone. Give it up to our oldest and most respected sponsor, Shitty's Pizza. That's what I got. What about that? What do you think? I like the raccoons. The raccoons are my people, guys. I feel such a bond. They are the proles that will inherit the earth, and I am the prole that has inherited this weird space that we're currently inhabiting together. Oh, what do we got here? Okay. So, this is now time for our brand new feature, Late Night Stories. I'm going to let that bed play for a minute, man. I wrote this wrote this just today for the show. That's right. Funky, right? All right. So, I've been asking you guys to send me your late night stories, and I realize that I am not setting a very good example for you all because I'm not sharing any late night stories. How am I supposed to expect you to? You know what I mean? So, tonight is the night where we kick it all off. And I got a double bonus because I am not sharing this story by myself. I am sharing this story of someone else who wanted to contribute a story. And that someone who gave me the permission to use their name is Blaze in Space. Blaze in Space, the one who has my back through every cosmic odyssey we've ever been on, who has been with me through every struggle, every success, was kind enough to open up and write this out. The story is called It Was a Huge Space, but a Small Room. I'm going to put some reverb on, eh? It was a huge space, but a small room. The bar curled around in a big corner at its center, and most of the room was taken up by a big net, thick almost more like one you would climb on than one you would catch wildlife with. There are inflatable fish in the net, which overhangs into the strip stage, karaoke bar, ATM machine area. When it was late and the lights were low, you felt as if you had been dropped into an odd aquarium with guests perpetually high on their last quick intake of white powder. I was in college when I first encountered this place, the landing strip, aptly named. I would soon learn of the big scary room in back, where all the drugs were being dealt, and have to pretend I was at a pool party on LSD in 1993 to convince the owner I knew his wasted brother-in-law and did not deserve to be kicked out the hard way. I was born in 1988. In high school, years before I encountered the landing strip, I was going through something popularly called puberty, which, for someone assigned male at birth, can sometimes mean surprise erections. I was in English class and our tests were being handed out. My last name starts with a T, so I had about a minute until my turn to walk to the front of the class, when out of nowhere it happened. I was in sweatpants with no underwear. My chances of hiding this had ended before I left the locker room after gym. There was no escape. Some people with penises may tell you about the tuck rule. Yeah, that's a method, but these sweatpants were terrible. The waist was strong enough to keep me from flashing every person I met, but not tight enough to contain my body's unconscious efforts to rush all of my blood between my legs, nor contain my upcoming embarrassment. It was like I could hear every second on the clock click away with a heavy thud and its dusty reverb sonic aftermath. We were in the P's, now the R's. My name was called, and it dawned on me. My only escape may not be hiding at all, right? Hiding in plain sight works, doesn't it? That felt less embarrassing to me than just trying to accomplish a tuck and epically failing to stay clothed or tripping and injuring my maturing phallus. So I held my head high, chin up, hands at my side, and I walked across the front of the class, got my test paper, and walked back to my seat proudly and sat back down. Full erection, totally obvious. For a couple silent seconds, I thought I was a fucking genius. Why even hide the erections? No one is even looking at you. You solved puberty, I told myself. My English teacher asked the class if they had any first reactions to Act 1 of Macbeth. It was a huge space rapidly shrinking to a small room. A hand shot straight in the air. I'm not sure how I felt about it, but I know John had a big boner for it. Years later, at the landing strip, I did solve puberty. Blaze in Space, that's some saintly shit. Thank you very much. That was a great story. And I really, really enjoyed reading it. I hope you guys will join me and send me some of your own. Come on, guys. This isn't a big deal. Nothing to be embarrassed about, except for what I'm about to tell you. So my late night story is not about boners. It's about acid. When I was a young man, I lived in Puyallup, Washington, which is a total shithole made up of largely suburbanite, white, boring people and hicks. And I had a car full of my friends. I believe there were 5 of them. And yeah, there were 5. 4. There were 4 of them. So it was me driving, and all four of them decided that they were going to do acid together. And so I, being terrified of acid and absolutely appalled at the idea of doing a hallucinogen because I knew for a fact that I didn't like myself very well, agreed to drive them around, basically. So they all took acid, and then we drove down to South Prairie, Washington, which is really in the fucking sticks. Barely anybody around. Everybody's starting to feel it. It's been about a half hour, 45 minutes kind of thing. And one of those people is in the chat room right now. They may be laughing about this as I tell the story. But so I take them to this waterfall where I've taken my girlfriend a bunch of times, and she was one of the people on acid. So just felt kind of natural and out of the way, and we wouldn't attract a bunch of attention. So I took them down to basically this little tiny stream that had a little waterfall in it. And we get out of the car, and they're like, oh man, the sun, man, it's fucking disappeared, dude. And I'm like, that's because it's covered by the clouds, and it became nighttime, so that's why you're not seeing the sun. We hung out there for a while. It was, I think I was like 19 or 20 years old. 3 of the people with me were my age, roughly. And one of the people with us was like 40. And he was on acid, but he also brought this huge case of beer. Well, funny story. I had got in trouble with the law the year before and was given a 1-year suspended sentence. And if I got a major moving violation, even one time, I could go to jail for a year. So as I'm bringing them back from South Prairie back to the belly of the beast in Puyallup, a cop light comes on behind us, and they are drinking in the back seat. They have a ton of crushed beer cans in the back seat. It's late, must be like 10, 11 o'clock, which is super late out in the sticks, you know? And so this cop pulls me over, and I pull in, and I'm freaking out because I know I'm totally fucked, and I'm gonna take the fall for all of this. So I pull into the parking lot. I'm telling everybody, like, shut the fuck up, shut the fuck up, shut up. And right then, 2 skinheads ran out of the gas station and started beating the shit out of each other. The cop who was pulling us over immediately turns his attention to them, just says, have a good night. And meanwhile, the guys in the back had been throwing the beer cans under the car. So I pull out in full view of the cop with all these beer cans under my car and drive the fuck away. I wish that was the end of the story, but it's not quite. So after this round of adventure, I decided that I'd had enough of everybody because, quite frankly, I didn't want to go to jail trying to take care of them. So they asked me to drop them off at a bar, which I did do. I did drop them off at a bar. But they asked me to wait for them because they were only going to be in there for a few minutes. And because these idiots were so high that, you know, anything could have happened, I just decided to stick around and wait for them. And I waited there forever. They completely forgot about us. And so it was just me and my girlfriend in the car. And we're trying to figure out what to do. And she is starting to have like a serious fucking meltdown. She is starting to have some weird experience. And she's like, and out of nowhere, while I'm trying to calm her down, some dude fucking knocks on the window with an umbrella. And it scares the shit out of her so bad that, I mean, holy shit, like she starts screaming, freaking out and shit. I roll down my window, and it's this old guy, and he goes, your lights are on. I'm sitting in the fucking car, it's running. I know. Thanks. And then spent the next 2 hours of my life calming her down. We left. I took her back, basically tried not to suffocate her with a pillow because I was so frustrated by this point. And that's one of my late night stories. That is a thing that happened. I have one more for you. It's about the first time I was ever in a green room. And so I must have been, I don't know, 18, 20, probably 20. Ballard Firehouse in Ballard was one of the few venues that would let us play there because we're minors. So they'd make us hang out in the back and just not be anywhere near the bar or whatever. But we saw a lot of cool shows there. We opened for Robin Trower one time. It was really cool. But this wasn't that show. This was our first show there. And the owner of the Ballard Firehouse was this dude named Louie, who struck me as a total cokehead who could kill somebody. He was very scary, and he was somebody that I felt knew dead people. Like, knew where they were buried, knew what to do with them. You know what I mean? Like, Louie's that kind of guy. He's a fixer. So Louie used to walk around behind the scenes at the Ballard Firehouse and just yell at everybody and scare the shit out of all of us. But after the shows, when Louie was a little drunk, maybe a little more than drunk, he'd invite us to the green room. And so in this particular case, we went to follow him to the green room, which was this kind of spiral concrete staircase that led down to a room. And we're like, yeah, the green room, right? We happen on this room. Everybody from the other bands is already in this room. And this room is entirely full of broken glass. There's just fucking broken shit everywhere. It's crazy. There's just a table and some couches, and everybody's doing coke. And everybody's offering everybody coke. And we're smoking weed, sure, but like, I'm not gonna do fucking coke. I never have done coke, and I'm really glad. But we were offered coke by everybody in that room. We politely declined. Sat around and listened to him for a while. Everybody, most of the guys in my band were pretty cool and didn't seem too bothered by it. I was starting to feel the heat and to feel a little uncomfortable. So me and my girlfriend got up, walked up the staircase, and walked outside to have a cigarette. And I'm smoking, and I'm trying to collect myself, and I hear this kind of this really guttural, like I'm worried somebody's being assaulted or killed. And I literally just look to my left. There's just two dudes just having super, super passionate sex. And I looked at them. They said, "What are you fucking looking at?" And I just went back inside. So that's my second late night story. Weird things happen at night. That's why the show's called Weird at Night, and that's why I want to hear your late night stories. So once again, we will go back and say that if you have a late night story that you want to share on the show, you either want me to read it for you or you want to send me a video of yourself reading it, send it to weirdatnight@gmail.com. Even if you don't have a story, that's cool. I'm sure you know someone who does. Let them know about the show. Also, make sure you smash that subscribe button. I want to make sure that we build our followers up and get this community really firing off. It feels great when I have people to interact with. It hasn't always been the case, but we're there now, and thank you guys so much for being a part of this. It really means a lot to me. This show is a labor of love, and it's kind of quickly become maybe my favorite thing that I'm doing right now. So it feels great to be here with you. Okay, so I put out a call to creators earlier in the episode, but I've been putting it out for a couple weeks. And my very good friend, Matt Jenkins, who makes beautiful art and made the cover art for my album cover, No Future to Fear, he is working on kind of a short animation. And what I'd like to do is I'm going to show you what he has so far. He used my song Ageless for my last EP, No Future to Fear. And he's making a short animation. It's only about 15 seconds long, but he's going to send it to me again next week with whatever he's added to it. And we're just going to kind of watch it as it develops every week. So I think that's a really cool thing. And let's watch it. Hold on, though, because, we'll get to that in a minute. Here you go.
I had a dream
That's it so far, but it's I promise you this is going to turn into something really amazing, and you can see the potential already. Matt Jenkins, MD Jenkins Art, go check out his website. This guy is fantastic, and I can't wait to kind of watch this unfold every week. Once again, when I say, guys, this is a haven for creative conversation, this is exactly what I'm talking about. Here we are, it's the middle of the night, we're looking at cool art, we're having conversations about art. This is my dream. This is exactly what I want to create, and I'm so, so happy you're here with me. Thank you. We've talked about our sponsors. We've talked about all that stuff. What do you guys want to talk about? I mean, I can put gifts up all night. That's cool. I'm totally fine to do that as well. But is there anything on your mind at this time of night, guys? You got anything you want to talk about? I like the running shark. That's a good one. I mean, that's a quality gift, people. Can I play you a song? Okay. Well, I had kind of resisted that for whatever reason. I don't really even know why, but I'd be happy to, Zim. Thank you for requesting that. I got you, Carlos. We'll be talking about that in a few minutes. I'm going to play one song. I'll play one of mine. How about? This is a track of mine that I'm recording right now. It's called Nothing Is Real. I feel it's pretty apt for the time we're living in. Hope you guys like it. It's 2 in the morning. Hope my neighbors don't get too pissed at me, but this is the ether space. I own this shit. Oh, let me tune. Hold on. They're not gonna get pissed at me. They love me. I'm like their older brother who doesn't tell on them when they like sell drugs. You know, my neighbors are pretty cool. Man! All right. Do I call out for mandolin part at a wandering spring in a young woman's heart? Or do I turn a face where I once did belong, watching singers sing, though we don't sing a song? Nothing is real, nothing is real. I'm so outraged I could post all day. I got so much time to fill, so much pain to play. If I had a vehicle for to live inside, name myself God and crush the resistance. Nothing is real, nothing is real, nothing is real, nothing is real. Could you believe in the formless hardware? Madness sprays across the field of scars. I don't know what I wanna. Easy love, money, sex, easy alone. Nothing is real, nothing is real, nothing is real, nothing is real. Could you believe when I told you so? All the lives I live are the truth that I know. And I got a text from someone I know. It said, send me home, I'm at the end of the road. Nothing is Nothing's real, guys. Um, I think we're experiencing that on so many different levels right now as a society. Cognitive dissonance is a real thing, and it's a real pain in the ass. Thanks, Sim. Glad you liked it, man. I'm so glad you're here, buddy. It's so great to have a crew here. Okay, so I like this. This is kind of my go-to. This just feels like a news graphic for like the interstellar updates. Um, yeah, really kind of weak on the bottom there, so I'm gonna have to put the raccoons back there. Um, so Carlos from Astro Media suggested that maybe I talk about something that happened on Facebook today, which I will do. It was kind of a big deal for me because I kind of took a swing at something that is kind of outside the realm of proper decorum to do. And it was kind of scary, to be honest, but I'm really glad that I did it. And I feel like I have a lot more self respect because I did it. So let me bring that up here. Actually, where is it? No. Well, I don't want to get too out in the weeds looking for this. All right. Sorry, guys. Hold on. So essentially, what I said is attention, venues, arts associations, and music commissions. Oops. Sorry. Yes, I'll tell people to support your causes. We are in this together after all. Mostly, aren't we? See, musicians, the people who actually craft the music that is the prime source of intrigue for your business, have been getting fucked so hard the last 20 years in Seattle and beyond that it's kind of hard to believe that anyone is on our side. You need to stay in business? Funny, so do I. Except I need to stay in business. The business of doing your marketing at my cost, being responsible for who does or doesn't show up, giving away my recordings to drive people to shows, only at the end of the night for you to take a big fistful of that money, make me pay your staff, then give me the peanuts left behind, while you keep the entire bar. Those peanuts you give me will cover part of the marketing dollars that I spent to drive people to your venue. And what is my biggest worry? Man, I hope they'll have us back. No more of that. So your venue is run on a shoestring and you're just trying to stay open? Me too. Most professional musicians were living on a shoestring that COVID completely destroyed. Being broke doesn't keep your mouth shut, does it? Sharing live streams is cute, but also patronizing in a way. It's patronizing because it took a fucking pandemic to get anyone to pay attention to our situation, and because us playing for money on Facebook is not a business model, it's desperation. I expect everyone who owns a venue, writes about music, broadcasts music, or in some way is financially dependent on musicians to be our advocates all the time, forever, in perpetuity. Fair pay, livable wages, copyright protections, political representation. You benefit from all this industry has become. You need to stand up for us too, not just when it's convenient. I'm not speaking for anyone but myself. Feel free to master the hustle if that's what your goal is. Just understand that it's a hustle. So, what did you want me to share?
One.
So, that's kind of the, whoops, sorry about that. So, that's kind of the impetus for what I'm saying right now. So, I wrote that last night and immediately fell all over myself after I posted it, just kind of tripping because, I was pretty worried that people would feel like I was attacking venues or attacking club owners or attacking. I'm not. I'm really attacking the process by which compensation in the music industry works. Um, Musicians have never been paid fairly. I mean, there's never been a time that you can go back to and probably find where musicians are paid fairly, but the conditions today are egregious, they're ridiculous, and they're unsustainable. And um, in all of the sharing of everybody's stuff, in all of the race to kind of provide some kind of support to the musicians uh, as the COVID thing set in. You have all these people sharing people's, feeds on Facebook saying like, "Oh, look at this. My friend is playing music and you can donate. That's nice, but that's not a fucking answer." You know what I mean? And that is not something that venues are providing. You know what I mean? So the point of what I said, which may have gotten lost, I'm not sure if I actually wrote it very well. I think it was pretty ranty, but I wanted people to actually read it. So I just went for the throat. But the nuance in what I'm saying is not that it's not that venues should disappear or that venues are horrible people or that they're conspiring and they hate us and they're trying to keep us down all the time. That's really not it. It's that even a morally run venue is participating in a system that is predatory and rewards those who keep musicians at this very small level. And I had a bunch of people who are servers, bartenders, all that come right at me. And you know what? They had every right to, because I get why they might feel like I didn't care about their situation. But the truth is, we're not all in the same boat on that. Like the bartender isn't paid out of the door. The door guy isn't paid out of the door. You know what I mean? If I don't bring in enough people, the sound guy is going to get paid by the venue instead of the door. You know what I mean? Everybody else in that venue, besides the musicians, is guaranteed to be paid. Does that make sense? Musicians oftentimes and disturbingly often walk out of venues with $0. And uh, it's not necessarily because the venue is trying to keep from paying artists. It's because the venues are trying to survive. And the model that we have here in Seattle is not working. It's not working for the artists and it's not working for the venues. And so the venue owners may be pissed at what I said, but what I'm saying is, you want my help getting your message out. I'm happy to help, except I can't let you off the hook without asking for your help too. You need to bring more attention to these issues. I can scream from the mountaintops, but everybody's gotten very used to ignoring musicians. So me doing it doesn't have the same effect that it does coming from other members of the media, coming from members of the local music community that have a lot of economic weight to throw around. You know, I don't have that weight. We need your help. We need the people who actually have power to constantly advocate for us. And the reason that I feel very comfortable demanding that from you, the people who profit from the music industry, is because you wouldn't be able to survive or have a business at all without musicians. So it's fundamentally immoral and wrong of you to ignore our issues. And it's fundamentally wrong of you to push off our issues and act like they're unsolvable. They are solvable. It just takes the will. And I'm tired of waiting around for people to come to the table with sensible solutions. If I have to say something from now on, that's the way it's going to be. This scene has too many talented people fallen by the wayside economically or on several other fronts too. And it's not right. There's a reason people keep moving to LA, Seattle, and it's because we are not creating a sustainable model for the future. You know what I mean? So some people added me. Some people some people called me out. Some people said I sounded entitled. Somebody called me a unicorn musician, which I told them to fuck themselves basically because no. Mm-mm. I've been doing this 25 years. You know what I mean? I have not asked for a whole bunch of extra exceptions made for me. I've actually been a really good little soldier this whole time. And I don't care anymore. I do care, but I don't. I don't care about people who aren't helping me continuing not to help me. That's the worst that can happen. And I think what really disturbed me today was the amount of people who messaged me privately or text me and said, I don't feel comfortable commenting. Well, that tells me that we've developed a situation where the truth isn't okay either. Like we can't even talk about the way things actually are. Like, how are things ever going to change? How would anything change if you can't talk about the truth? So, whatever comes with being outspoken, I would much rather advocate for the artist than the industry because there is no music industry right now. There is no music industry right now. Nobody's doing shit. You can release your stuff on Spotify. Everybody can do that, whether you're on a label, whether you're an indie artist. It's the playing field's been leveled. But I don't need a bunch of people who are participating in a predatory system who want to maintain that system. I don't need it, you know? So even if it meant I didn't get to go back to some of those venues, or even if it meant that um, I miss out on some opportunities because people don't like my attitude, that's okay. Because at the end of the day, people first, guys. This industry is brutal. The people who are trying to make stuff happen, anybody that you've probably ever heard of has worked their ass off to get to that point. So nobody here is a unicorn. We have all hustled and we deserve to be recognized and we deserve to be helped. And it's not help. We provide a service that we have allowed to become free. And it's not. It takes a lot out of your heart and soul to make great art. Did anyone on the receiving end acknowledge what I said? I did get a response from a booker who is very specific about their booking practices on the feed, on the thread, but no, not really. I was kind of curious because I thought that maybe, uh, anytime you say anything this big, you just feel immediately like you've exposed yourself and that, maybe somebody knows something you don't know and they're about to make you look really stupid. So I was kind of worried about that. And nobody who owns a venue debated with me at all. Nobody who actually owns a venue argued with me or commented at all beyond just a booker who owns a venue in Burien. But, it's not like the New Most people or the Sunset people were jumping in on that one. And I think it's because it's true. What I said is demonstrably true. If it was false, somebody would have called me on it. And if you read through that whole thread, you may have people like questioning my attitude or how respectful I am toward the people I'm talking about, but nobody actually told me that I'm wrong. And nobody told me that I'm a liar. So if you can't um if you can't prove me wrong, then that means there's at least something to what I said. Not only that, there was some other people who jumped in the scene. Kevin Sir jumped in and had a really really nice chat with me about it, where I felt like we strengthened our relationship just by finding each other on this issue because we weren't exactly coalesced around each other as you might imagine. But once we talked for a bit, I really got the impression from him that he understood, and I felt actually very seen by him. To change, so in the chat it says to change the system, it takes the people in the position of privilege and power to take a little less to help those that have less get more. The problem is, why would anyone who is comfortable do anything to change their position of comfort? That's a great question, Zim. And I think we are in a unique time to answer that question right now because, for once, the venues are actually in the same boat that the musicians are. They're on there raising funds for themselves. They're asking us to spread the word for them. That's why I felt this was the perfect moment to kind of make this point. It's like, hey, you want my help? Great. I totally understand why you need help. I've needed help this whole time, is the point. Like, I've been broke and not able to monetize myself, and kind of having my art discarded in the public sphere as something that's just frivolous and free. And nobody's been speaking up about that. Nobody's been speaking up about um really, like, here's my main point, okay? Those venues, those employees the people who write about music, the people on KEXP or any other radio station that play music need musicians to have a job. Otherwise, they don't have a job. There is nothing for them to do because there is nothing to talk about in their field. And so, because they are all dependent on us to craft and create art for them to discuss, to dissect, for them to pontificate about, if you're so dependent on us, you should start acting a little more grateful for what we give you. Sorry. Why are artists, the creators of this entire industry and the basis for it, the most poorly paid people in it? That's a fucked up, broken system, guys. That's as easy as it sounds. So why would the venues give up any power? Because they don't have any power right now. They're closed, all of them. None of them are open. None of them are having shows. None of them. They should definitely be willing to listen right now because they need our help raising awareness for their situation. I'm not suggesting we hold anybody hostage, but I am suggesting that we use the advantages that we do have to our advantage. Musicians, not very good at that. Oh, that felt good. That felt good. Guys, I love you. This is amazing to me to have you guys with me and to have you guys participating and talking about art with me at 2 a.m. It's a dream come true. It really is. And I know it probably sounds a little over the top to say that, but you guys make this really, really, really worth it. So with that, I think I'm going to play a couple songs and then we'll probably sign off. But if you have anything else you want to add, throw it in the chat. I'll probably just play one song, but throw it in the chat and I'll answer it when I'm back from this. And I love you guys. I hope you have a great night. I hope Weird at Night has entertained and enlivened you. It certainly has me. So what am I going to play? I don't fucking know. Let's see. I'm going to play something fast and loud. We are the chains of his dory. Noble is our pain and pride. Mercy burned by sacred flame. Sell the future, let the past decide. Pick from the poison of your hate. Sprung from the sorrow of your soul. Lay with the devil you create. Feed your reason. We demanded symmetry. You commanded wealth and rank. Made a god of industry. Left your leader swimming in the tank. Pick from the poison of your hate. Sprung from the sorrow of your soul. Lay with the devil you create. God bless the USA. We define your enemy, weaponize your dread and doubt. By the grace of a liberty, we tell the sacred truth and you just swallow it down. Pick from the poison of your hate, sprung from the sorrow of your soul. Lay with the devil you create. Weaponize your memory. I'm Patrick Galactic. This has been Weird at Night. You fuckers are great, and I'll see you soon.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.